Hey, I'm 81 years old. That still surprises me when I say it out loud. I don't feel ancient on the inside, but my body tells the truth every morning. And lately, so does my memory. Not the kind that drifts, but the kind that insists on being heard. If you're young and listening to this, I need you to understand something first. I'm not angry. I'm not bitter. I'm not trying to scare you into living differently. I'm just a man near the end of his life, finally able to see it whole, and wishing, quietly, that I had seen certain things sooner. Most of my mistakes didn't look like mistakes when I was making them. That's the problem. They looked like responsibility, like discipline, like doing what a grown man is supposed to do. I thought life was something you managed. You make the right choices, avoid the obvious disasters, and things work out. I believed that deeply. It kept me moving for decades. Now my days are slow. I wake up early because sleep doesn't hold me like it says it will. I sit in the same chair by the window, watch the light change, and think about how many mornings I rushed through without noticing them at all. The first mistake I made was believing time was generous.
When you're young, time feels endless. Even when people warn you, it doesn't register. I remember older men saying, "It goes fast," and I nodded politely, certain they were exaggerating. They weren't. If anything, they were understating it. I treated time like something I could borrow from later. I assumed I'd slow down eventually, that I'd make room for what mattered after the important stuff was handled. The important stuff was never handled. There was always another deadline, another obligation, another reason to postpone presence. I didn't realize postponing was a decision. I thought I was just being practical. If you're young, please don't make that mistake. Time doesn't pile up waiting for you. It disappears quietly while you're busy proving yourself. Another mistake I made was confusing effort with love. I worked hard, I really did. Long hours, missed dinners, came home tired. I told myself my family would feel my love through stability, through security, through everything I provided. And they did to an extent. But love isn't felt in the abstract. It's felt in moments, in attention, in being there when it's inconvenient.
I was often loving in theory and absent in practice. I remember my children trying to tell me things when they were small, stories that wandered, details that didn't matter. I'd half listen, nodding, thinking about what I still had to do. I didn't know those moments were the whole thing. I thought I'd be more present when they were older. I didn't realize they'd stop asking. That's another mistake. Assuming people will wait for you to change. They won't. They adapt. They fill the space you leave, not out of spite, out of necessity. I didn't notice when my kids stopped reaching for me. I noticed much later when the reaching never came back. I also made the mistake of thinking strength meant self-control at all times. I grew up believing men don't burden others with their feelings. You handle things, you stay composed, you don't linger in emotion. I wore that belief like armor. What I didn't realize was that armor keeps people out. My wife lived beside a man who rarely let himself be fully known. I was kind, I was loyal, I was steady, but I was guarded. I didn't know that intimacy requires a certain amount of risk. I assumed love, once established, would sustain itself. It doesn't. Love needs attention the way a fire needs air. Quiet neglect doesn't look dramatic, but it's effective. We didn't fight much, we didn't fall apart. We just slowly stopped turning toward each other. I thought that was normal. I thought comfort was enough. If you're young, don't confuse calm with closeness. Another mistake I made was thinking success would feel like a rival.
I spent years chasing markers, promotions, recognition, respect. I believed there would be a point where I'd finally feel settled, satisfied, and proud in a lasting way. Those moments were brief, fleeting. The next goal replaced them almost immediately. What I didn't understand was that success is loud but temporary. It fills rooms, not hearts. It gives you stories to tell, not someone to tell them to. Now, at this age, none of it sits with me. Not the titles, not the accomplishments, They don't keep me company in the evenings. They don't soften the quiet. I also got wrong the idea that being busy meant being important. I wore busyness like proof of worth. A full schedule meant I mattered. A slow day made me uneasy. I didn't know how to be still without feeling guilty. Stillness scared me because it brought questions I didn't want to answer. Now, stillness is all I have, and I wish I'd made peace with it sooner. One of the biggest mistakes I made was delaying hard conversations. I avoided them because I didn't want conflict. I didn't want to upset anyone. I told myself silence was kindness. It wasn't. Silence just let misunderstandings harden. It let distance grow roots. By the time I was ready to speak honestly, the moment had passed, or the person was gone. If something matters, say it while it can still land. I waited too long to express gratitude, too long to apologize without defending myself, too long to say I need you, or I miss you, or I was wrong. I thought there would always be another chance. There often isn't.
When my wife got sick, everything I had postponed came rushing back at once. Every unsaid thing, every missed moment. I was present then, fully, attentively, and it was both beautiful and devastating. Beautiful because we were close again, devastating because I knew how late it was. When she died, the house felt hollow in a way I can't fully explain, not just empty, accusing. I realized then another mistake I'd made, assuming tomorrow was a given. You plan your life as if time has agreed to your schedule. It hasn't. It never does. Now my children are grown. They live their lives. They love me, I know that, but there's a carefulness between us, a politeness shaped by years of emotional distance. We're friendly, we're respectful, but there's a version of closeness we never built, and it's too late to start from scratch. That's a hard thing to accept. If you're young, please don't wait until loss teaches you what presence could have. Don't wait for illness to slow you down. Don't wait for regret to clarify your priorities. Regret is a cruel teacher. It's thorough, but it's late. I'm not telling you to abandon ambition or responsibility or effort. Those things have their place. I'm telling you not to let them crowd out your life. Pay attention to the people who want nothing from you except you. Sit longer than feels efficient. Listen without planning your response. Let yourself be interrupted by the ordinary.
That's where life actually happens. I used to think the big moments defined a life. Now I know it's the small ones you keep skipping. At 81, I see my mistakes clearly. Not as failures, but as misunderstandings. Costly ones. I misunderstood time. I misunderstood love. I misunderstood what deserved my urgency. Understanding now doesn't fix anything. It just settles in quietly, like an old ache you've learned to live with. If this reaches you while you still have choices ahead of you, I hope you don't rush past it. Not because I'm right, but because one day you'll be old too, sitting in a quiet room taking inventory. I hope when that day comes, you find fewer empty spaces than I did. That's all I wanted to say. That and this. Don't wait.